Yo, Redman, man, what the fuck, man? Get the fuck off that punk smooth shit, man. Get with that rough shit, man. You know how we do.
6 million ways to die, so I chose. Made it 6 million in one with your eyes.
Can I borrow some money? Can I get some weed? Can I drive your car? Can you pay my rent? Can you buy me a drink? Can I wear your gold? Can you take me to the mall and get me a pair of those? That's when I smack the shit out you.
In the world of hip-hop, Redman isn't just a great rapper. He is a lyrical powerhouse, a hip-hop innovator, and one of the most entertaining MCs to ever touch a mic. At his peak, he was untouchable, effortlessly mixing razor-sharp bars with humor and pure street. But before we break down just how dominant Prime Redman was, let's talk about his unexpected comeback after 27 years. Redman finally dropped Muddy Waters 2, the long-awaited sequel to his 1996 masterpiece. But here's the real question: why did it take nearly 3 decades? Most rappers from his era either fell off, switched up their sound, or stopped dropping music entirely. But Redman, he's still here, and he's made a sequel to one of the classic, most respected albums of the 90s.
Cause that shit on his lip got some shit on his lip, nigga. Yeah, you know I roll that.
So stay tuned and don't forget to hit subscribe. For those who don't know, Muddy Waters isn't just some old school rap album. It's one of the best hip hop albums ever made. Every track was pure raw, heavy bars and humor that only Redman could pull off.
Yeah, it's a fucking bulletproof gear. If I decide to get your ass, you better believe it's more than the blast. More like rough.
It was an album that had no skips, no filler, just back-to-back bangers that still hold up today. This is the project that solidified Redman as a top-tier MC. Can Redman still compete in today's hip-hop world? That's the real test. Hip-hop has changed. It's not about complex wordplay anymore. It's about viral moments, beats that go crazy on TikTok, and quick, catchy hooks. But Redman's secret weapon? He never depended on trends. His style has never switched up.
Hollywood house parties, I never did it. Sacrifice my character, I never did it. I used to wonder why I never got him.
Then came what? The album, 1992. And let's be real, this album was insane. Most rappers take years to develop their style, but Redman came out the gate with his signature funk-infused sound, crazy flows, and humor that made him stand out from every other hardcore rapper at the time. He wasn't just gritty, he was funny. But unlike other comedic rappers, his lyricism was next level. Songs like Time for Some Action and Blow Your Mind introduced the world to an MC who was unapologetically raw, unfiltered, and original. But what made him really different was his ability to mix humor with hard-hitting bars. Most rappers either try to be super serious or completely goofy. And here's the crazy part: this was just the beginning. What, the album, put him on the map, but his next projects would turn him into a hip-hop legend. Redman has never been one to sugarcoat things, and when it comes to There Is a Dark Side, he's brutally honest. He hates this album, not because it wasn't good.
From logical, I blow the spot up in any hood and bulldogs. Make the bully of the block moving.
In fact, it's one of the most unique and underrated projects in hip-hop history. The Redman himself has said in multiple interviews, including on Drink Champs in 2017, that he refuses to listen to it. He can't, because to him, this album is a time capsule of his darkest period. Let's set the stage. Redman was fresh off his gold-certified album, What, the Album, 1992, and the industry had taken notice. He was the newest Def Jam heavyweight, bringing a unique blend of humor and grime that made him stand out from the rest of the hardcore East Coast rappers. But behind the scenes, Redman was going through some serious demons. By his own admission, Redman was deep into drugs while making There Is a Dark Side. We're not talking about casual smoking. He was fully submerged in psychedelics, weed, and liquor, using them as a landscape.
I don't remember none of that process to the album. And that's like my least likable album.
In a XXL interview in 2012, Redman even described this period as walking around feeling like a ghost. Lyrically, Redman was still razor sharp, but he was rapping from a darker place. He wasn't just dropping punchlines, he was pulling listeners into his unstable mindset. Take the track Rockefeller. It's not just a banger, it's pure aggression, paranoia, and rebellion in audio form. Then there's Can't Wait, one of the most recognizable beats of the 90s.
I'm just a smoky boy, I'm from the land of the lost, you can't see me, like Charlie Angel's boss, I'm off the...
This song was a radio-friendly hit, but even here, Redman's delivery felt intense and slightly unhinged. He sounded like a man trying to hold it together while his world was falling apart. But despite all of this, the album became a cult classic. Hardcore hip-hop heads respect it for its originality, and to this day, it's one of the most highly dissected albums in his catalog, and that's why he never listens to it. If There Is a Dark Side was Redman at his lowest, then Muddy Waters, 1996, was him at his absolute peak.
I be the super lyrical individual. I be spitting through that Teflon material to knock Big Ben off a schedule.
The album wasn't just good, it was Redman's best work, period. Released on December 10th, 1996, this was Redman fully in his element. He had survived the madness of his last album, cleaned up his headspace, but not too much, and perfected his signature sound. The result, one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. This album had everything: top-tier lyricism, flawless beats, hilarious skits,
Could have been a king.
and a style that no one could copy. The funk influence was back in full force, the humor was sharper, and Redman was now fully confident in who he was as an artist. Tracks like Pick It Up and Whatever Man
I spoke with a lot of college students. Most of them wasn't graduating and they knew it.
show Redman at his funniest, most creative, and most polished. This was the album where he truly mastered the balance between comedy and raw lyricism. He was still the same wild, unpredictable MC, but now his bars were tighter, his flow was smoother, and his beats were cleaner. And let's talk about production. Eric Sermon was at his best during this era, crafting beats that ooze lyrics, streets, and clubs. Every track on Muddy Waters felt like a party, but one where the crowd was full of the hardest rappers in New Jersey. Critics loved it, fans loved it, and years later, even Eminem called this one of his favorite albums of all time.
You know, because, man, like I've said publicly, man, you're one of my favorites of all time, so that's never going to change, man. I'm so glad, like, keep doing it, man.
That says a lot. By 1998, Redman was no longer just a rapper's rapper. He was a mainstream star. He had proven his lyrical dominance, and now it was time to take over commercially. By the mid-90s, Redman had already established himself as one of the best MCs in the game, but when he linked up with Method Man, that's when things got legendary. This wasn't just another rap duo. This was hip-hop's ultimate tag team. Their first real collaboration happened in 1995 when they dropped How High, a one-off single for the show soundtrack. At the time, Redman was coming off There Is a Dark Side, 1994, and Method Man had just released his Tikal 1994 album under Wu-Tang. On paper, they came from different worlds. Redman was Def Squad, Meth was Wu-Tang, but their chemistry was so natural, raw, and effortless that it was like they had been rapping together for years. The track was a success, and the industry took notice. This wasn't just a one-time thing.
Excuse me as I kiss the sky. Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rhyme. Who the fuck wanna die for they go?
For the next few years, Redman and Method Man were everywhere together. If there was a posse cut, cypher, or high-energy collab track, you could bet they were on it. But their biggest moment came in 1999 with Blackout. This wasn't just another rap album. This was one of the greatest collab projects in hip-hop history. It dropped on September 28, 1999, and went platinum, proving that their chemistry wasn't just for features. They could carry an entire album together.
I was going to, but we roam. Cellular phones, doc meth, back in the flesh, blood and bones, don't condone.
In 2001, Redman and Method Man took their legendary chemistry beyond music into Hollywood with How High, a cult classic stoner comedy that became a staple of hip-hop culture. The film followed two underachievers, Silas, Method Man, and Jamal, Redman, who miraculously aced their college entrance exams after smoking a special strain of marijuana.
Man, that shit smell good as hell, dog. I'm Jamal.
Peace, Silas. So you trying to get something to bring them nerves down too, huh, bro?
How High was an instant hit among hip-hop and comedy fans, further solidifying Redman and Method Man as one of rap's most iconic duos, not just in music, but on screen as well. Enter Method and Red, 2004. On paper, this should have been a massive success. A primetime show on a major network starring two of the most charismatic rappers in the game.
What's up? What's up? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ow. Hey, neighbor lady. Hey.
Did I mention we're flexible on price?
Sounds like a win, but Fox completely screwed it up. Redman and Method Man originally signed on thinking they were going to have creative control. The show was supposed to be a raw hip-hop version of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, filled with their signature humor. But as soon as production started, Fox stripped them of all creative input. The network tried to turn it into a family-friendly sitcom, complete with a laugh track and 4 storylines. It was the complete opposite of what Redman and Method Man had envisioned. In a 2005 interview, Redman said that he hated the show so much that he refused to watch it. Fox was trying to force them into a box that didn't fit their personalities, and it backfired. The show only lasted one season, 13 episodes, before it was canceled. Consistency in hip-hop is rare. Most rappers drop a classic debut, then struggle to maintain that same energy. Some get caught up in label politics, others chase trends, and a few just fade away. But from 1992 to 2001, Redman was one of Def Jam's biggest stars, right up there with DMX, Jay-Z, and Method Man. But his role in the label's success was bigger than just his own albums. He was a major part of Def Squad, collaborating with Eric Sermon and Keith Murray on some of the label's biggest records. He also brought his energy to Def Jam's collaborations, helping to keep the label's reputation strong during one of its most dominant eras. Now tell me in the comments, did you enjoy that masterpiece? If so, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to drop a like as well.